of his games. So this is going to be an exciting fight. There will be two games that they will play against each other with opposing colors, and also Chess Gurukul and Chess United will be trying to make it to the quarterfinals and the last 8. Handshake and off we go. Pragg opens with knight to f3. Vishy brings his knight out to f6. Pawn to c4. e6 played. And b3. To get the bishop to b2, Anand pauses a bit, pushes his pawn to d5, bishop b2, and now c5 played. You may want to close down the position with d4, so Pragg takes, Anand takes back, and g3, the double fianchetto. Knight comes out to c6. One of the things that you can always learn from Vishy Anand is his impeccable opening play. He pushes d4 in the center, castles, bishop e7. How to develop your pieces, how to control the center, everything done very well. Knight a3. And by the way, Anand has played this exact same position against Jan Krzysztof Duda with the black pieces in Global Chess League 2023, where he played bishop f5. And believe it or not, even Pragg has played this with black in an online event against Adiban. So they both have some experience here. Knight c4 played by Pragg. I like white's position, by the way. There are two nice knights in the center. The bishop is well placed. The other bishop is well placed. Yes, the d3 square is a bit weak. So like something like bishop d3. But rook e1 should be completely fine. So Anand starts to think. Now, he can take on d1. But he can also just simply play bishop e4. The bishop controls this diagonal. And Pragg and Vishy are both out of their prep. They must be recollecting their own games. But I'm sure not so deeply. Okay, what should white play? You know, I want to put my queen on e2 and get my rooks into the game. But the moment I play this bishop d3 is trouble time. So that's the reason why I want to do something else. But what? Knight e5 is possible, but then the pieces get traded. So a4 played. And this is a slightly weird decision by Pragg, because after takes, bishop c2 and b3 would just drop a pawn. So Vishy spots that, and is he going to get tempted? He plays it. He plays his bishop to c2. He wants to win this pawn, and he's asking Pragg, what's your idea, buddy? You know, why did you give me a free pawn? Pragg goes rook c1, and well, Pragg has, I think, calculated this well, because after knight d2, the bishop needs to be given up for the knight, and after knight c4, now you have a5, a6, the bishop on the long diagonal. There's a bishop here as well. Rook c8 played, and a5. Amazing pawn sacrifice here by Pragg now, with some ideas of a6 softening up the diagonal. Rook comes to d8, and a very good way to play now is bishop f6, and rook b1, putting pressure here, and it's very difficult to handle that position. But Pragg goes rook b1 first, and this is just the moment that Anand needs, because now knight d5, excellent move, and now the knight can jump to b4. Both the knights can jump to b4. So Pragg is a pawn down now. Does he have enough compensation? You can see Vishy feeling the confidence there. Yeah, sometimes a player who's not playing often needs to get out of the openings against guys like Pragg who are so well prepped up. Bishop c3 played by Pragg, and now Anand can take on d1, rook d1, he goes a6. Does weaken the b6 square a bit, and you can slowly try to expand on the king side with f4, g4, or bring your king in with king f1, king e2. He goes king f1, rook takes d1, and maybe rook d8 to trade another rook. Yeah, plays it, rook to d8. And Vishy keeping an edge on the clock as well, which is really nice to see. I think he's going to make a very confident beginning in this match against Pragg, 2-game match. Pragg goes king e2. And now rook takes d1, king takes d1. And can you go bishop to d8 to win the pawn on a5? Yeah. Pragg takes, c takes b4. And I think things are going to get traded now. The king comes up here, you take on a5. Then I take later on b7, a6 pawn falls. Opposite colored bishops. This should be equal. King c2. And Vishy takes on a5, draw, and that is a good game by both the players. Very strong, very solid. But Chess Gurukul went on to win that match. So now Chess United team of Vishy Anand needs to strike, and Anand needs to strike with the white pieces. Meanwhile, Praggnanandhaa would definitely want to beat Anand in their personal encounter. And so, by the way, the results of that were that Chess Gurukul won dominatingly in the first match. Now pawn to e4, c5 played, knight to f3, knight c6. We have the Sicilian, open Sicilian by Anand, takes, and what is Pragg's choice going to be? He goes knight f6, knight c3, and plays the Sveshnikov with e5. Knight to b5, d6 played, and bishop to g5. The knight drops back, b5 played with the idea of b4, and knight to d5. It's all mainline theory. Anand knows this stuff. He's played it over and over again in his career. But of course, there are always new wrinkles in theory which you need to be ready with. Bishop g5. I've seen often that h4 is a move, giving up a pawn. There's also g3 perhaps. Bishop d3 can be one idea. a4 can be another one. I mean, there are so many possibilities here. Queen d3, a3 even. He goes a3. That's a more restrained approach to black's queenside push and just trying to finish development, keeping control of the d5 square. That's what Anand is trying to do. Knight to b4. Offering a trade of knights. And Pragg can play queen c8, defending his knight. Now, notice how this bishop is controlling the e7 square. So that's important because otherwise, queen c8, knight c6, queen c6, check and you lose the queen. He plays queen c8, defending also the a6 pawn. Yeah, it was natural not to take this because after a b4 the a6 pawn is a weakness. So queen c8, and now simply castles here should be fine. He castles and Pragg goes a5, knight comes back, and now a good idea is to play knight e7, trading. For example, knight e7, knight e3, you can take, and just continue this position with a very nice position for black. But he goes queen b7, and Anand plays queen to d3, keeping an eye on the b5 pawn. Pragg goes rook d8, defending the d6 pawn. He was going to play rook d1. Yep, plays rook to d1 now. The queen can actually swing over to the third rank to g3, which could be nice. Pawn to g6 played by Pragg, not a good move. All of a sudden, Vishy is looking good. Queen g3. He first plays pawn to b4. And if AB, the rook opens up on the a file. I think it's a very good idea to just take and play knight e7. This knight on d5 should not be tolerated at all. Especially with this weakened dark squares, it's just this bishop hanging around and trying to defend it. Pragg has an important decision to make here. He's thinking about what can he do. Closing the position should be very, very bad because a4, later on you have c4 and the a pawn becomes weak, the b pawn becomes passer. Pragg goes below the clock of Vishy Anand. Anand has 1 minute 57 seconds, Pragg has 1 minute 30 seconds. a4 played. Closing down, now queen g3. Let's go, queen g3 and pawn to c4. This should give white an edge. Well, you can also play c4 directly, but first queen g3. Bishop goes to h6. He's ready for these checks to come in. Right now, this check is not possible. Is not so dangerous. Knight e7 is not possible. Queen h4, another power-packed move played by Vishy. He's attacking the bishop. Now looking at these important squares. King comes up to g7, and now knight to e3 would be a good idea. To put the knight on the e3 square, looking to get to d5. And you know what can be a cool line is, yes, Anand plays it. If you take bishop e3, I can go for a check and then take with the f pawn, getting myself an open f file. Knight takes e3, takes it back, and now Pragg could potentially go back to e7 to defend the d5 pawn. Here he does it. Knight e7, defending the d5 square. Pawn to c4 by Anand. It was possible to do this tactic, which was to take, and queen takes e7. But c4 takes, bishop c4 also is very pleasant. Very pleasant. Praggnanandhaa is playing this not so well. Or rather we should say Vishy Anand is playing this really well. Pragg now thinking about whether he should take here on c4 or allow Vishy to take and double his pawns. He goes knight c6 again, trying to enter the d4 square. He has only 35 seconds. Meanwhile, Vishy has 1 minute 15 seconds. Should we take on e6? And Anand, should we play bishop to d5? I also like this move. It's Anand's time now to take a long think. He's wondering what to do to bishop d5. Oh, he takes on e6, fe6. Now the d5 square cannot be reached by the knight, but Anand is going for a king side attack with knight g4. h5 played. Wow, that's bold because queen f6, king h7, and he sees that there's no more attack. So h5 is a good move. Vishy now down to 30 seconds, comes back, knight e3. Pragg now goes knight d4. He's taking over. Anand goes king to h1 so that knight e2 check doesn't become a problem. Takes the open file. Vishy tries to challenge the open file. And now Pragg has 20 seconds. Anand has 26 seconds. Whoa. What a game this is turning out to be. Just complete fight. Knight b5 attacking the a3 pawn. Anand defends a3. Also looks at d6 and e5. b6 and a5. This knight is a great piece. Rook d7 played to double on the d file. On the c file, sorry. Knight a5. It takes. Rook takes, and now a very cool move. Because if you take the queen, there's a back rank mate, and that was spotted so quickly by Pragg. h3 taking away the back rank issues, but now takes the pawn. You know, just step by step, Pragg has managed to get a close to winning edge, and now queen g3 is a big mistake because yes, you are attacking the knight, but check, king h2, and queen f4, pinning the queen. Next move, the knight comes back, and the a pawn runs down. Vishy Anand resigns here, and Chess Gurukul move to the quarterfinals. Let's hear the discussion between Pragg and Anand.